Well, well, well.
We're back again.
So tonight, we're gonna follow up on a listener suggestion for a topic.
Yeah.
915 Offroad, Pedro Cervantes, wanted us to discuss what it was like, being in off-road groups, clubs, Jeep clubs, doing off-road events, etc. So we'll give that a shot. Pros and cons of being associated with a team, if you will. So we had an experience this weekend. We went out to, thinking we might connect at this area we were wheeling in with a local club, I think that's maybe what you'd call them.
Group club?
And when we got to the air down, we ran into some other guys.
A different group
who, casual, but definitely built for doing stupid stuff. And we went out to do stupid stuff with them instead. And it turned out all right. They were nice guys, fun to wheel with, and we had a very full day.
Yeah, we ran a lot with them.
I think we probably hit 5 or 6 trails. Did some in their entirety and did some in part. But it was good. We did some stuff that we've passed on for the last couple of years just because it was so rowdy.
But Matt really gave us the encouragement to try it, and we tried it.
Yeah, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate it.
The gauntlet was thrown, and we don't even know if it's true.
I accepted the challenge.
Could be urban legend. But anytime somebody says, oh, yeah, I did that in a JK, well, game on. So.
But yeah, thanks to Grant, Chris, and Mike that we met out there. It was great wheeling with them. It was a good time.
We've wheeled with Mike
a
couple
couple
times.
with Mike before.
Yeah.
So.
But first time with Grant and Chris. So that was cool. So what are the pros and cons of clubs and groups? Have you ever been in a Jeep club?
Yes. I was in one here in town, and I was member number 18.
Wow.
I had a challenge coin thing.
I think I was in that group too. I think we can...
I turned it in after maybe 2 years.
Is that like handing in your gun and your badge?
I feel like it was.
Yeah, I was in that group briefly as well. So I think one of the things with this is I think it's okay to have...
I think groups are great.
Different lanes, right?
Yeah.
I think when everybody expects us to be one big happy family and sing Kumbaya and jerk each other off, right? There are different styles of wheeling. There's different levels of extremity, difficulty, and in the words of Rodney King, can we all just get along?
Boy, good thing our demographic will know that reference. Shout out to Lori. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, our one female
one that'll
audience
admit
member.
It, at least. Thank you for admitting it.
So I stand corrected. I have to retract my statement that it was our audience is 100% male.
Yeah.
But the males in our audience are 100% old.
I thought you were going to say 100% male.
I don't know. I'm not judging. I don't care if they're 100% male or not, right? Let's not get into that discussion. So
the groups are great. There's some good things about them. Some of them are ran very well, pretty organized. Have meetings or group events, meetups once a month at different. Like there was one for a while that would have it at the same place, which is great till the place went out of business. I guess Paul Stanley or whoever. Well, what's the other one with the tongue?
Gene Simmons.
Yeah, he didn't want to invest in Rock and Brew anymore, I guess.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I mean, there's, it's a sense of community, camaraderie, right? A lot of times the Jeeps are built similarly, right? And they have the same expectations on what they're doing, what they like to do. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's a great thing if you want to be a part of it. They a lot of them do things for the community.
yeah, Toys for Tots.
Toys for Tots, Trunk or Treat.
Yeah,
Right, all these different
all
things.
good stuff.
Yeah, which is great. And you can meet people there that want to stay in that same lane as you said, or may want to go in a different direction. Right, like you go and you're like, whatever. Right, they may want to be like, look, I want to wheel 2-3 times a month. And you're like, I want to wheel 2 or 3 times a month. Then you find someone new to wheel with, right? So
Okay, so besides you and me, who do we know that wants to wheel 2 or 3 times a month?
our friends down south for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's different. But then that's a different group, right?
Right.
Different objectives, different style of wheeling. Those guys are rock crawling, and they live where the rocks are, and yeah,
Yeah.
and their rigs are built to take the abuse, and I think a lot of people, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, right? But people in this Jeep Club kind of environment, they don't want to go out and trash their
Nor
rigs,
should they.
and fuck shit up.
Yeah, no one should.
Right.
It's dumb.
Yeah, well, that hurts a little bit, but okay.
I tore up a brand new fender.
And your corner.
And the other corner.
Yeah.
Body damage.
But I think that, it's okay to let everybody do their thing, right? And I don't think we need to, I mean, there's stereotypes, each way, right? Right on both sides of this continuum, both ends, right? The hardcore, the buggy guys, they're a bunch of old curmudgeons and
That's not true.
unfriendly,
At all.
and
The group we ran with weren't that old and
no,
Trail
I'm not
hero.
talking about those guys.
well, they're buggy guys.
There's some pretty salty lads out here. Out here in New Mexico. I guess the desert does it to them,
It's a heat. It's a dry heat.
Right, but they're not all like that, right? And I don't think pigeonholing anybody's necessarily good for community, but I mean, you're going to have the people that they want to go to Jeep meets and put ducks on Jeeps and do that shit. That's cool, right?
Well, it's
It's
kind
a-
of cool too because it's like a car show, right?
Yeah, it's a different vibe altogether.
And that that's one of the things that really excludes us from it. Is that we don't really are able to drive our vehicles there. Right? If we really want to go to one, it's a significant cost. Or we have to trailer.
Yeah,
Right? We're running stickies, so that wears on the pavement and I don't know what.
yeah. Well, maybe that's good to point out, right? So it's not that we are stuck up and we don't want to hang out with you guys, but yeah, I'm not going to trailer my Jeep across town to,
Right.
jerk each other off. Right? Like
Yeah,
we went to one.
Yeah, which is I would have loved to
few
take
months ago.
my Jeep, but man, it was just
to-
too much work to
to
go
support-
get my trailer and get it, load up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go show support, right? They were, again, good cause, pet adoption,
Oh yeah, pet adoption.
right? So all that stuff's great.
Yeah. So I think they're great. I think they're there's different ones for different people, right? And even within them, there's different levels, right? There's some that are try to go out more and do harder things, and
Yeah, and in every group,
yeah, the group.
every strata of this motorsport, wheeling, whatever, you're always going to have the folks that are running their mouth and not their rigs.
The group we were gonna kind of meet up with on Saturday if we ran into them, right? I mean, they were great, but they met at like 6:30 in the morning,
Yeah, in December.
and we don't have tops.
Yeah, we don't have doors. We don't have tops. We don't have heated seats.
Whoa.
Oh,
I have heated seats.
all right. Well,
Yeah, but 6:30. That means, oh, I mean, best case scenario, they're on the trail by 8. We didn't get on the trail till 10:30. It was still cold.
which is a proper time to get started in New Mexico, by the way.
In the winter for sure. Man, it was brisk too. That wind blowing, but yeah, and that's great. I'm glad I hope they went out. We didn't see them. I hope they were out there.
They were out there.
Were they?
I communicated with them a little bit while we were out.
Oh, okay, good. So, and that's great. I'm glad, that people are going out and using the area, right? That's probably the most important part of all of it, is that every time we go over those cables that run across the byway, right, that means people are using it.
Right.
And the more people that go means it leaves it open for us to continue to go.
Well, I think one of the main benefits of being in a group like that and going out and wheeling together is you support each other out on the trail, right? The more resources you have, if something goes wrong out there, the better off you are. Out here where we live, there's a lot of great wheeling, and there's a lot of difficult to extreme and very extreme stuff, and it's out in the middle of nowhere, right in the middle of the desert, and there's no recovery service out here that's going to come and get you. There's no Matt's Offroad Recovery that's going to come and hook you up and pull you out and put you on YouTube with the mess you created, right? So you're on your own. So you rely on the people you're wheeling with.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the strongest arguments for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's safety in numbers.
So what about some of the negatives? We talked about one in a previous episode, and I don't think this is all groups by any means, but there may be a tendency to kind of with that kind of group mentality, let's go and do this thing, and next thing you know, there's a bunch of new bypasses and a bunch of obstacles filled in, and right.
Yeah.
So there's that too, right? There's a kind of that coming together and saying, oh yeah, this is, that's okay, right? We're just going to do it this way, instead of saying, we're going to turn around because we obviously underestimated this trail. So,
yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing too, right? Like, in my experience, there's a lot of groups that want to do it just for the group and the meeting, which is great, right? But you gotta know that it's different. It's different, right? If you go out with us, it's different, right? We have a lot of seat time. We're trying to get more and more seat time. That's our ultimate goal, I think, right? Is to continue to push ourselves and get better, right? So, it's just different. I think that's the big thing, is like, you're built differently, right? We're all built differently, right? And it's just how far you want to push the envelope of your vehicle, and understand that we're not shining our vehicles. We want them to look good, but at the end of the day, like, I really did tear up that fender in that corner.
Yeah, but that's part of the deal.
So I got them.
Um, yeah, I think the social aspect is a big part of those. Um,
And I don't think
those
that's a
Jeep
negative.
groups.
That's
No, it's
cool.
not at
That's
all.
great.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very social person.
Yeah, I think the thing that kind of wore on me, like I did that when I first started out, right? First
Did you and I ever go to a meet together and know it?
no,
No?
I mean maybe we didn't know each other then.
That's what I mean.
Possible, I went to a couple of those things at Rock and Brews.
Well, I liked it because I got to take my wife. So that was cool. It was something she could go to, right? Because she doesn't really want to go wheeling and all that mess. But she liked that part of it, so that's
Yeah.
great.
Well, they have beer there, so
True.
count me in.
Food.
But yeah, it didn't last long because I wanted to get out and wheel and do harder stuff, and it was good for me because I met some people. I didn't know shit about anything, and so they got me out there, but then I quickly outgrew it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Because I mean, there's frankly, people that wheel and people that talk about wheeling.
And I think it's evolved over time, right? I think, the groups, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, right? But like there's groups on the internet, like let's just say Pirate, right? That used to be a thing if you were on that website, and that was a group.
Yeah. I mean, it's an online community.
Right.
I mean, you still have that, the Gear Install Technical group. It's like there's groups like that out there, and they're great. Some real dicks in that group, right? I mean, Pirate, same way, right? Any of these, you're going to have these guys that are just
Keyboard cowboys?
salty. Well, some of them, they're not just keyboard cowboys. They know what they're talking about, but, they don't have the patience or the social skills, and they're the guys that know a lot of shit and know how to build stuff and don't have anybody to wheel with because they're curmudgeons. Could be any of us someday, right? But so what about the events?
Oh, what are we talking about events here?
Well, I think Jeep events or off-road events kind of have the same.
Like Trail Hero?
That's one, right?
Okay.
But you have like Easter Jeep Safari, you have Jeep Beach, you have, right? So you have everything from kind of mild to wild, right? You have everything from, Jeep Beach to King of the Hammers.
I'd love to go to Jeep Beach.
Well, keep dreaming. You hit what you head for.
I think they're. I mean, the events are great.
And then you have events that kind of cater to a wide variety of wheeling styles and vehicles, right? Chili Challenge, you have everything from a 2-track road, cruise out to Sparky's, have a burger, and cruise back, to, Warpath and War Axe and Godzilla and
Mothra and all the new ones.
yeah, right. So the whole range, everything in between. So
I think that's most events.
I think a lot of them. I don't know if it's most, right? I mean, and obviously, I don't know. I haven't been to all the events, but I
Let's
think
say the ones you pay for are like that.
That's a good point, right?
Right?
It's a
Because
real
we
good
paid an entry fee for Trail Hero, or paid for each trail we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We paid for Chili Challenge of the trails that we're going to do.
Well, do you think it's more of a function of trying to appeal to a broader audience?
By paying?
No, to offer all levels of trail. because
Well,
you have this,
I
you have
think
the
if
same thing in Sand Hollow. You have mild to wild.
well, I think that's what makes it a good event when you can do those kinds of things, when you can offer it for everyone, right? Like I think, man, you're putting me in a corner. When you have a free event with limited trails, it puts a lot of people together that didn't have any other options and are on things that they may not should be on.
Well, I think that's maybe we've talked about this before. I think any event should be pretty good at informing people about what to expect as far as the trails, the level of difficulty, and we've seen it, we've talked about it here, right? People showing up and being disappointed, I think is probably not the right way to put it. Like it's more like they're like, what the fuck,
Yeah, when they get on a trail that was
right? So
hard but takes forever because it's not that hard.
So we've talked about this, right? If there's an easy group or an easy option, to me that means stock friendly, right? If I'm in a stock rig, maybe it could be anything. It could be my 4Runner, my Tacoma, my F-150.
Well, I think that's another rabbit hole. What's a stock rig, right? Like
I would say
stock everything except for rims and tires.
stock everything, maybe a little bit of a lift,
So it's not stock.
still pretty stock.
Yeah, but that's where we get into JT on 40s. On stock axles with a little bit of lift.
Yeah, and on a 7-8 rated trail, it's a problem.
Right, but that's
At least out here it is, right? This isn't an area where, you could just get up a little momentum and chirp, 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 and you're up, right?
yeah.
It's a little different.
But I think here's the way I look at these events now. Right, I think for me at this point with events that we're not leading and gunning, right, and even for that event, right, it's I would say it's a Jeep meet. It's a social hour, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like realistically, there should not be 45 rigs on the maze.
Or on any trail. I mean,
Or any trail for for sure. But you have to go into that trail knowing that this is a Jeep meet. Let's hang out. Let's meet people. Let's talk. Let's look at rigs. Right. Let's see the influencers. Right. Let's get a picture of people. Whatever it may be. I think that's how I look at these Jeep events now, or these events, maybe not Jeep specific, but and I think if we want to wheel, we go to those areas when the event's not going. And if we go to an event, is what it is, right? Unless we
yeah, I agree with that. I
run
think
like the limit of what we can run with people that are built for it, like chain reaction, right? That wasn't a Jeep meet. That was let's run this trail.
yeah, that was a trail with 2 Jeeps,
Right.
you and me.
Yeah, and we were like, oh, okay. And I feel like we respected their time, we respected the trail, and we did what we could. Right? But anything else that was in our wheelhouse was a Jeep meet, which is cool. It's fine. I go into those thinking that now. I'm not going in them to wheel.
I think when we're talking about that area specifically, right? Again, the Fallen is a 9 rated trail, and those rigs that do that trail would not make it on a 9 rated trail here, not even close. right? I mean, some of these trails, they wouldn't make the gatekeeper,
Right, right.
right? So, and it's not to be disparaging of that area. I mean, those trails are rated appropriately for different reasons. And, it's no doubt one of the best places to wheel on earth. But, I don't know. I agree with you in large, right? It is kind of a Jeep meet.
Right. So, turning the page a little bit to what you have written down there, what about cheap clubs? Right? There's a new club popping up on Facebook every
Month.
week or month. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just a way for people to kind of solidify their core group, but be open to, inviting other people in, right? So, it's not like we're members of a bunch of these groups, right? Because you go out, you do these events, you wheel with these people, right? Maybe you're their trail boss and they have a club, right? And they invite you. Like, yeah, sure. Join the group, right? The Facebook group. That's all it is. It's just a way for them to kind of collect their contacts and the people that they know. And, we've gone out and wheeled with some of those folks outside of that. And it's fine. But yeah, there are a lot of them.
Just a new club.
I mean, and
So-
I mean, think about it. I mean, people anybody that's listening to this, like, how many off-road Facebook groups are you a member of, right? Like, probably like me, probably like in 10 or 12 or 20. I don't even know how many. Because they pop up all the time. But so everybody's a member of. You meet somebody, you probably have 3 or 4 groups in common that you belong to, or you're a member of. But it's kind of like having 1,000 friends on Facebook. I know 8 of them.
I miss my MySpace top 8. You really had your top 8 friends. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What are we? We a club, a group,
No,
a
we're
syndicate.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool names for that, right? No, it's interesting. We're just too. We've had this experience of wheeling together for the last 5-6 years, and we just happen to have similar interests in terms of how often and how hard, we wrench together, right? We do a lot of our own work. So that kind of, right? It's just, if, and then we have friends that, we're somewhat connected with, right? I won't name names. I don't want to embarrass any of you,
Because you know us.
But right, the similar thing, right? They like doing the harder stuff. They're doing their own work on their rigs. They're constantly testing, pushing, improving. So I don't know. I mean, I think in that realm you have more. Not lone wolves, but it's like little groups, like those 3 guys that we wheeled with Saturday, right? Those guys probably wheeled together a lot, probably just those 3, But I also know that they know other people that we know,
Which
right?
I think is great. They're built similar, right? They understand what their vehicles can do, right? There's a lot of great things from it, right? Like, I know what your vehicle does. You know what my vehicle does.
But I think that you just kind of you're little tribes that are part of a bigger tribe. at that point. It's not, nobody has time to go park and walk around a bunch of vehicles and stuff, because your vehicle's probably clapped out and needs a bunch of work. And if you've got that kind of time, you're probably laying underneath it with a wrench in your hand.
Yeah. But,
So
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's once a month. You can make time.
yeah.
I have enough once a month things.
All right. Well, I think we've maybe exhausted.
So Pedro Cervantes at 1987. We hope we covered your question in a
915 off-road. So it's obviously 915 area code, El Paso. There's a lot of good people, avid wheelers, off-roaders down there, and they like to get after it.
They do.
They're not messing around down there, down in Cruces and El Paso, and Tier C.
Points in between.
All right. Well, if you have any ideas for topics you'd like to hear us blab about, then please do let us know. We really appreciate your time and your support and your comments. So, and hopefully we'll see you out on the trail.
Yeah, thank you.